So let's talk about the purpose of shadow work and how to start doing your shadow work, particularly for the dark feminine. I have a Patreon where I discuss in more depth than I would on, TikTok or social media that everyone has access to. But you need to understand the purpose of it, right? And the fundamentals of it so that you can take yourself on the journey. So, think of yourself as a computer. Everything is energy, right? Everything that you have experienced from the time you were in your mother's womb is stored in your body. Now, process that and think about how much of your life you actually can recall. Not very much. Some of us barely can recall what we ate every day of last week without putting serious thought into it. This is what make apps like TikTok very dangerous because it lowers our attention span. This is what make being dependent on technology. It's a ramification of that is we have very short-term memory and we barely remember what we did yesterday without putting energy into the thought behind it, right? So think about that and then think about your body storing everything that has ever happened, that you have ever felt, that has ever been said to you, that you have ever seen spiritually, emotionally, and physically since you were in your mother's womb, right? Since before you had a name. It exists within you. Now, when we're talking about the shadow, our bodies and our brains are conditioned to protect us. But often our bodies and brains attempt to protect us is by hiding things from us, right? This is part of the reason why when you have traumatic things happen to you, you don't remember, right? Your body puts it way back in the back of your mind behind lock and key so that you're able to perform day-to-day tasks, but it's still back there. And eventually, the ramifications of it being stuck back there behind lock and key cost you physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So shadow work is going into that back room, the back closet, into the lockbox, finding the key and unlocking it and opening Pandora's box. That's what shadow work is, but you're supposed to pace yourself. Therapy is a good start because what therapy does is it allows you to get comfortable with speaking things that we were conditioned to believe was supposed to be stuffed inside. Therapy allows you to get comfortable with acknowledging that there is a ton of stuff in the background behind lock and key that you don't want to talk about and that you've hidden from yourself, right? But therapy is only going to get you so far. You have to do the work. To get to something, you have to go through something, and that's you. We've been conditioned to look for solutions outside of ourselves, to look for help, guidance outside of ourselves, right? So we've been conditioned to believe in entities larger than us, that are up in the sky, that are men, for an example, right? You're looking for a leader. Men are looking for women. We're looking for other things constantly all the time when everything is already internal, right? So because we've been conditioned to look at source or God or whatever as this thing that is this great distance away, we're always doing the work backwards. It's inverted. Source is within you. You are source. Source is a part of you, which is why you are divinely connected to every human being that exists. So think of it like this. This is source. This is your body. This is everything that exists. Other people, jobs, money, trees, everything. Everything exists. This is source in the middle. This is your body. We've been conditioned to think of source as being something up here, something all the way up here that is unattainable to us when it's really inside you, right? Therapy can't teach you how to get here. Therapy can teach you how to talk about all of the shit around here, but it can't teach you about what's inside of you. This is why at some point after you do therapy, you're supposed to start to take the journey on your own, a whole separate journey, right? And you can still go to therapy to be an outlet. But you know why, to me, therapy is a sort of pseudo band-aid, is because it physically costs the therapist, right? Because the therapist is also their own divine source connected energy, right? And so them allowing you to dump all of your shit from the hours of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., right, is costing them. Meaning it's not an actual solution. And it's actually, they're being exploited, right? Now, once you get to a certain place where you know how to do these things, you will be a better therapist, for an example. But at the end of the day, like I'm not following these silly stories about the girl who fell in love with her therapist, but that's a good example of why therapy is not a solution. It's a key to unlock the door. So join my Patreon so that you can learn how to sort of safely, ultimately, I'm not your mama or your guide. So, I can only help guide you. I'm somewhat of I like to call myself a dark goddess oracle, because I can only give you tips. I can't tell you what to do. I'm on my own journey, right? So I can only give you certain guidance, and you can pick and choose out of what I say that works for you, because you are tapped into source yourself. So once we become more tapped into source and realize we are source and that we have to go in to get connected, that's when you will start gravitationally, energetically connecting with other people who have also done the work. Because right now we're trying to connect with people who aren't doing the work on a very surface level, and it doesn't work. It costs everyone. So join Patreon. I focus on the shit that's in the box. Now, I can't tell you what's in your box. I can just help you, guide you to, or rather help guide you to guide yourself to get to that box, to safely, gently expose every step until you actually get to that box. I have my own box of bullshit back there, right? That I've been working on getting to safely. And you have to pace yourself. This is something, you have a life. How old are you? From the moment you were I won't say conceived, but the moment you were in your mother's womb and your brain formed and you could think, right? You were able, you started storing information. Go into the shadow. The shadow is the information that you've hidden from yourself, that society has told you to hide from yourself. It is your job to delve into that. Each one of us have to do that. We cannot do that for other people. We can only do it for ourselves.